So as is traditional, right before the Daytona 500, 704 Games has released their current year update. This time, it's the 2019 season of the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series. This is a digital download for NASCAR Heat 3. It costs $10 on your preferred digital download site. And if anybody asks me that question in the comments, I will know you haven't watched 20 seconds into the video. So what we're going to do today is take a look at the content that's included. We're also going to do a race at Daytona, simulating the Daytona 500 to have a little bit of fun with this content. And also, I should mention, you can finally use this DLC online. It's something that people have been asking for forever, and it's kind of the catch of this particular DLC. Unfortunately, no new track included like it was last year with the Roval. It's just paint schemes. So, well, let's take a look at those paint schemes, shall we? Let's take a look at these drivers in alphabetical order, starting and focusing on the Smithfield with Aric Almirola. That's the new Ford Mustang body. I guess I should have mentioned that. The new Ford Mustangs are included as well. So you do get some new and unique content with the 2019 update. We're going to move on to another Mustang. This one is Ryan Blaney, and it's interesting that this car is the PPG car, not his traditional Menard scheme. Now, not that I'm necessarily complaining, this is a beautiful scheme, one of the better schemes in NASCAR in the current year, so that's definitely nice. And it looks like they've also added the 2019 spoilers. Look at how big that spoiler is in the back. It'll be interesting to see if that is the case for all of the cars. Let's go over to a Chevy now. Alex Bowman, front row starter for the Daytona 500. And yes, indeed, if you look on the back of this Chevrolet, you will see an awfully large, big boy spoiler on there. So that's very nice to see. Not much has changed with this particular paint scheme, so we'll move on to Clint Boyer. Another Ford Mustang here. We've got the Rush Truck Center's car. And as you can see, that's what the Rush Truck Center's car looks like. Chris Buescher, Kleenex wet wipes. This is a very plain paint scheme. Just kind of looks like I don't know what that is. It looks like somebody spray painted the car. That's definitely interesting. And then we've got, of course, the Monster Energy Chevrolet for Kurt Busch. Car number 1 taking over for Jamie McFlurry. I don't remember if McFlurry's in this update or not. We'll have to take a look later on down the alphabet. Of course, Kyle Busch, the old NASCAR hater himself, with the big boy spoiler on the back. Let's see. We'll prove later if anybody can do NASCAR. And then we go on to William Byron. And William has got the Liberty University car rather than his Daytona 500 pole-winning Exalta car. So that's kind of interesting to see that choice as well. We move on to the Starcom car. I know a few people, including WinVal 8820, are going to be very, very excited about this particular car being included in the game. And I have to say that it's nice to finally get this team. That is for sure, because Starcom is one of the the lower budgeted teams, and there's always some fans of the underdogs. Then we move on to Ross Chastain, perhaps the most screwed over driver in NASCAR this year. He's driving for Premium Motorsports, and as you can see, there ain't no DC Solar to be found anywhere on this particular car. We go on to the custom car. That's remained the same. Hailie Deegan, she always is included. She's a Monster Energy athlete. Not really a surprise when you need to fill the field that you stick a 17-year-old girl in there, because again, she's got that Monster Energy sponsorship. Using her dad's number 38. I don't think she uses that in real life. I can't remember exactly what her number is. I think it's 19, but obviously that's already being used, so we're going to go with a 38. We go on to Matt Dibenedetto. Actually saw this car at PRI in Indianapolis. I think that was when it debuted, or at least this particular paint scheme debuted. And of course, Dibby's got some fans out there, so good to see that one. Oh, we've got the Daytona 500 paint scheme for Austin Dillon. So we don't have kind of the generic Dow Chemicals Earnhardt ripoff. We've got this slightly less of an Earnhardt ripoff, even though I think Dale ran a gold car at one point. So it's kind of a ripoff of Dale Sr. Never mind. Going on to Ty Dillon. And this car actually has some bonus content. Well, it's just removing the Twisted T logo, but again, not going to complain too much about that. It's interesting as well, since I've already done the age verification, it just goes straight to having the Twisted T on there. So you don't have to redo the age verification like you did last year. Chase Elliott, of course, you got to get Chase Elliott in there, and yeah, that's the right paint scheme to choose. I'm not going to complain about that. We go on to Joey Gase. Interesting choice here as well. Another small team, and it's always good to see these realistic back markers being included in the game. Brendan Gaughan, the old beard oil car. This is a Daytona 500 and plate race special, but it's nice to see it show up because it will be in the Daytona. Well, it might be in the Daytona 500. It might get knocked out. Who knows? Then we go on to Denny Hamlin. New paint scheme for Denny. Have to say, don't like it nearly as much as last year's paint scheme, or really previous years. It's definitely got a Jason Leffler throwback vibe. Maybe that's what they were going for. Then we go on to the Hunt Brothers Pizza Mustang of Kevin Harvick. And if you were wondering what happened to the Hunt Brothers Pizza sponsorship in the Xfinity Series, because obviously that Kevin Harvick's no longer running that series because of Ross Chastain. So Ross Chastain is responsible for 2 sponsors leaving that particular series, but we've got bonus content, and it is just adding some Mobil 1 or some Busch Beer stickers to this car, and it certainly helps the look of it quite a bit. Daniel Hemrick, probably going to be the Cup Rookie of the Year, I would guess. He's a guy I believed, and a lot of other people have believed, that has been deserving of an opportunity for a very long time. And here he is in the number 8 car, the Spotter's Nightmare, which is, of course, the 2 gold RCR cars. And, of course, it's the 8, so Budweiser for everybody. We go on to the Ally. Oh, this is a very controversial paint scheme. Jimmie Johnson, Jimmy the Juggernaut, the old Ally paint scheme. This is, yeah, you know, it's growing on me, have to admit. Some people really hate this. It's growing on me. I almost feel like I should choose this car to race so we can wreck the field. I don't know. We'll see. We go on to Erik Jones. Not much has changed here. Okay. Brad Keselowski. Miller Lite Discount Tire. This is the car that will race in the 500. So this is the car that obviously they chose. Easy for me to say. Good choice on that one. And that's just removal of the Miller Lite stickers. Parker Kligerman. That is not the paint scheme he's running in the Daytona 500, but it is nice to see a driver who is associated with this team, I think for only 1 race. It could be a few more, but him getting into this DLC, again, kind of to make the Daytona 500 content as realistic as possible. Very cool. Then we go on to Corey LaJoie, and I know a lot of people are going to be upset that a particular paint scheme pertaining to Old Spice is not included here. Perhaps 704 would include that as a free add-on DLC. I really think they should do it if they can get the licensing rights to it. Then we go on to Kyle Larson. Mcdonough's sponsorship on the side there. Not much else to say there. Then we go on to Joey Logano, the Mustang. They've changed the paint scheme. Only 2 scallops this time. You guys can stop complaining about it. Of course, he's the NASCAR Cup Series champion. Then we go on to another Mustang. Lots of Mustangs in this DLC. Michael McDowell in the 34 Loves car. And then Jamie McFlurry. He is in it. McFlurry. Oh my God. I think I may have to be McFlurry, actually, now that I think about it. I don't know. Should I be McFlurry or should I be Johnson? Let me know down in the comments. I'm gonna have to choose before the end of this, before you can comment. Oh, Paul Menard. Poor Paul Menard. He may get turned and wrecked in this video. That may happen, just to be terribly realistic. Oscar Mayer Wiener. We got Ryan Newman, the big boy with the big splitter and the big spoiler and the big hot dogs. Or that's not hot dogs. Those are cold cut sandwiches. Okay. Go on to Ryan Preece, another Rookie of the Year candidate, another driver that a lot of people have been feeling has been deserving of a ride, and he takes over for AJ Allmendinger in this particular ride with all the big-time sponsors. You go on to David Reagan, another Mustang, another plate track specialist. We'll see if he's running up at the front in this particular race. Then we go on to Reed Sorensen, another premium motorsports car. Not a whole lot to say. They seem to be including this car in every game. And then we go on to another Mustang, the Fastenal car for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Then Daniel Suarez moving on to the 41 car, camouflage on the back of it. That's an interesting paint scheme they've gone with this year. Gene Haas always comes up with some interesting ideas. it. Ryan Truex, another driver with the Captain D's sponsorship. There you go, man. I always see Captain D's, but I never eat there. I'm more of a Long John Silver's guy. But again, it's really cool to see a small-time team and driver get into this game. Then we go on to Martin Truex Jr. And we've got the auto owner's car, which is kind of interesting, rather than the Bass Pro Shop car, but definitely a different paint scheme, that's for sure. And we go on to Bubba Wallace, Worldwide Technology. This is not the car he's running in the 500, but it's probably going to be the car he runs for the majority of the season, I would hypothesize. Then we got Cody Ware, another car, trying to race his way into the Daytona 500, but he's going to be in this Daytona 500 regardless of what happens. Then we're back to Aric Almirola. So, which car should I choose? It's definitely between well, you know, it's between McFlurry. Oh, Ryan Truex would be a nice, you know, we'll save a couple of these. It's between McFlurry. We could do McFlurry in his last race, or we could do, I think we're going to have to go with Johnson. Yeah, I feel like Johnson's the right choice here, considering what I'm probably going to do in this race, and considering what he did in the last Cup Series race. We're going to be Jimmie Johnson. We're here at Daytona International Raceway Speedway for the 60th running of the Daytona 500, and of course, we are going to be playing to a big crowd as Jimmie the Juggernaut Johnson. And there's Mr. Jimmie himself here in the 2019 update of NASCAR Heat 3. So, Daytona 500, where's Jimmie Johnson going to race? Let's find out. So we're ready to go here in the 60th running of the Great American Race. We've got Landon Cassill. He's been struggling all weekend. We're going to see if he can turn it around for Starcom Racing. And then Aric Almirola picking up where he left off last year up front at Daytona, looking for revenge. The Hendrick horsepower has not worked out too well for Jimmie the Juggernaut Johnson here in the Ally Camaro. We're rolling off way in the back, 30th position, but at least Kyle Busch is back here to help us out a little bit. We're green and racing at the Daytona 500, and we're getting up behind Ryan Truex here in the Captain D's car, and that sponsorship seems a bit fishy, if I may say so myself. Regardless, we are racing. Car's a bit loose in traffic. Got to be very careful not to get a little too ambitious here, making it 3 wide or something. As we go down the backstretch, Chastain moves up. And we're going to try to crowd Kyle Busch out a little bit there. 3 wide. It's ambitious. It's too ambitious. Whoa, how did I save it? Wow, okay, well, I saved it. The rest of the field didn't. Somehow they've decided to put me in the back anyway, so I guess I got an avoidable contact penalty, which is cool. Yeah, okay, so we're going to reevaluate our life choices here. I'm going to pit since we're at the back anyway. We're going to tighten up the car a significant amount because, yeah, it was way too loose on that particular run. And here we go. So we're rolling off from the back. Only car that pitted. And interesting to see that Liam Byron's back here as well. So I wasn't the only Hendrick car that kind of struggled. So we get back to the green. I lifted off the gas for just a second there to try to get to the bottom. And I hope I didn't screw myself over here. We're going to see. And I think we'll be all right. So still got the draft, and they should slow each other down going into the corner. We should have a pretty big run here off of turn 2, I would guess. We've got a lot of horsepower under the hood here, as we know, so here we go. 3 wide. Oh, the run's not that great. Well, this is realistic. I tried to make a run, and it didn't work. Now, if everybody gets single file by the 3rd lap, we're going to be in real good shape here because we'll have incredibly realistic running as Landon Cassill moves in behind me. It's going to help just a little bit. Oh, Castle's going all the way down to the inside, trying to make a pass. Did not work. So there's the, we're already on the last lap of stage 1. So that was quick. 205 miles an hour, so we are boogieing around here. Sorensen's trying to make it 3 wide on the inside on Deegan. Everybody going real hard right now. Well, I think I may have made a mistake by trying to time that restart the way I did. It didn't quite work out for me to get up there and really challenge them. The car's handling much better than it was now. And I think we'll be much better as we start stage 2. But stage 1 will end 39th for Jimmy the Juggernaut. And that's not the way Jimmy rolls. But hopefully everybody is pitting, so Jimmy going to get out front here, and I think we're going to be in a little bit better shape now. We're not going to pit. We're going to come down in the lead, and this should be interesting. How long can we hang on to the front position as we go racing at Daytona? Got a lot of Ford Mustangs around me. We're going to try to hold these bad boys off in our Camaro. Oh boy, we're getting out too much. It's too much of a lead here. I have to slam the door on Stenhouse here. This is Stenhouse and Johnson up front at a plate track. That is asking for trouble. Let's take a look at the running order. So we got Harvick, Buescher, Aric Almirola up here. And they're making it 3 wide. It's out. It's Buescher making a move through the middle. And now we've got 3 by 3 by 3 all the way through the field. So it's all kicking off here. It's all very exciting. Here comes Kevin Harvick looking to the outside. Can't quite get around Jimmie Johnson. So it definitely looks like, ooh, as they get down the yellow line a little bit, that's out of bounds. Definitely looks like the inside lane is able to hold on here. Stenhouse looking to the outside. Johnson throws the block. Woo! That camera angle's very scary as we're going to block up to the outside. Blocking everybody. Here comes Paul Menard. Jimmie Johnson's triggered by Paul Menard. Oh, look at this. Blocking both lanes effectively. Well, that's realistic. That's kind of the way it is. You can also see the big boy spoiler, in the rear view mirror. If you look, it's just kind of poking through as the field is coming and coming in a hurry. But can Jimmie Johnson hang on to the lead here with 5 laps to go in stage 2? Just blocking both lanes of traffic. Look at this, swerving everywhere. Here comes Jimmy to the inside. Looking to the outside is Stenhouse. Now we got 3 lanes of traffic coming. They're digging on the outside. Aric Almirola pushing. Buescher all the way by himself, trying to hang off or hold off the momentum of each lane here. You got to be on the bottom in the corners for sure, but on the straightaways, it's all bets off, and it looks like Stenhouse may be getting hung out to dry there on the outside. No, he's going to charge back on the outside. Going to block 3 lanes of traffic still. Oh, here comes Stenhouse. There was no way I was going to block Stenhouse. And this may be the part where I get completely swamped. Uh-oh. Oh, no, Mikey. Oh, boy. That was an oh-no, Mikey moment. But I hung on to it. I spread the field out there. We're going to get in behind Aric Almirola here. Get a big old toe from him down the back straightaway. Now let's see if we can reform this pack a little bit. As Erik Jones looks to the inside. Tried to get around me there. That was a very cheeky move on his part. We've also got Ryan Newman back there as well. Field's a little spread out in the front because they're all going single file. And that's the way to do it at Daytona if you want to build up a gap, build up an advantage. But we're starting to slowly come back to them because the rest of the field's gotten the idea. And, well, we're getting all single file. It's realistic. Oh, no, they're not single file in the back. Here comes Ryan Newman with a big head of steam up front. And I blocked both lanes. This is kind of the Talladega race from last year, the fall race, where everybody was battling behind and the leaders kind of were able to pull away. So what we're going to do, since he's really faster, Ryan Newman is, we're going to let him go out in front. And we're going to try to get Ryan Newman to pull us up into that front pack. As McDowell moves her onto the outside of us. Now we're well established within this pack. I guess we don't have a car that can lead really all that well. Well, we can have a car that can lead the race outright. And look at this, we're getting freight trained by Fords right now. All the Mustangs are coming to the outside. Look at this. Mustangs OP. Ooh, car moved a little bit in the center of the corner. Erik Jones thought it was a good idea to try to stick his nose down underneath me. And move up in front of Logano. Oops, almost on the apron again there. That's out of bounds. 1 lap to go here in the stage. And they've started going hard for the lead up there. Low fuel, but that doesn't matter because we're going to be able to finish the stage almost certainly before this ends. We got to run actually on these Mustangs here. Let's see if we can make a move down to the inside. That is a desperation move underneath Suarez and McDowell, but we get it done. We may get some stage points here. Whoa! What don't you like about stage racing? It didn't work. Here comes Brendan Gaughan. We're going to block him for 12th place. And there you go, no points. But we will get to pit under this yellow and start the 3rd and final stage, and everybody's coming into the pits. So that's a good sign for yours truly to be able to stay in contention. Everything I think is all right. We're going to take some tape off of the grill, and let's go for it. Let's go for it. Final stage, competition. I should have let Gaughan go around because now I would have been on the bottom lane, not on the top lane. Top lane not quite as good. So we get a little bit of contact there with McDowell, but we actually got a better restart than him, so we might be able to sneak in. Oh yeah, look at that. And all the way down underneath Menard as well. And we'll slide in behind Harvick, give him a little bit of a bump draft through the corner here. Looks like we've got the Captain D's car out front, if I'm not mistaken. I may be mistaken. I think it looks like Ryan Truex, got to be specific, is out front. Maybe he's not. As we go underneath, and we've actually had a really good restart here. That's kind of surprising. All the way up to 4th place. And Almirola and Keselowski are battling for the lead with Chris Buescher. Remember that NASCAR Heat 3 has been uncanny in predicting winners. It predicted that Joey Logano would not only win the race in Homestead, but he would also win the championship the last time I did something like this. So, is this what we're seeing right now? Because that's Aric Almirola about to take the lead from Chris Buescher. Ricky Stenhouse in tow. Michael McDowell up here. Keselowski right behind Aric Almirola. Oh, and Chris Buescher almost turned across the front of Keselowski. And those two cars seem to be in a bit of a tango, two-car tango, so to speak. And Keselowski looking to the inside as we're going to get a big run on Chris Buescher here, try to build the speed up, suck our way back up here to these two Fords out in front. Looks like we're going to be able to do it. Looks like the Chevys are a little bit bad in the front of the field, but looks like we really can get the draft coming up behind them here. So 4 cars, 5-car breakaway here at the front. Stenhouse is kind of leading or kind of being the tail gunner right now as Harvick and McDowell all come up, and we've got a caution. So was that the big one? I don't know. It's hard to tell because I can't look back at this particular time. We've got enough fuel for the remaining laps, so we don't need to pit. We're going to go back to racing again on the outside, which is a little bit of a concern, but we might be able to take the lead here if we get a good enough restart. Let's see what we got here. Coming back to the green at Daytona. Desperation pass on the outside of Keselowski. We get it done. Do we have the acceleration to clear Almirola, though? Yes! Oh, that's a little bit of contact there, but Jimmie Johnson takes the lead in the Daytona 500. And now Aric Almirola going to try to get up behind me. Now I got to block Buescher. Blocking 2 lanes of traffic here. This is going to be problems. Oh, that was a late block on Buescher. It didn't work. Chris Buescher goes to the lead. Oh, here comes the whole freight train on the outside. Kevin Harvick, Chris Buescher, Ricky Stenhouse all go through on the outside. Now we're going to have to draft. With 3 laps to go in the Daytona 500, it's Chris Buescher out in front. Aric Almirola may have just gotten screwed again. And, whoa, McDowell tried to make a move down to the inside. It didn't work. Now we're going to see if he can pass here late in the going. We get a huge run on Kevin Harvick. We're going to give him a bump draft, try to get him around Stenhouse. I think we're going to be able to do that. Harvick's got nowhere to go with his run. 3 wide. This is not going to work in any capacity. That was not the best choice of lane there, David, but Aric Almirola down on the bottom. He's coming up through the field. There's Mustangs all over the place. 2 to go at Daytona. Harvick making a move to the outside. McDowell can't clear Buescher. We give Harvick a big old shove down there in turn 1. Aric Almirola's back here. It's single file through the field. Now we got the run on Harvick. Can't get anything done though. Everybody's spreading out trying to find a way through. Well, looks like Jimmie the Juggernaut Johnson's going to find a way through. Forcing my way down to the inside of Kevin Harvick, and we're going to get up a position there and forcing him out of the groove there. Now McDowell making a move, and that is going to be, contact. Oh, white flag. Oh, we're wrecking. Oh, we're upside down. We saved it. Yellow is out. Somehow we're going to have a green-white checker on this thing. That's not realistic. Holy smoke. Way up in the air for Jimmie Johnson. 5 laps still to go on the fuel, so we don't need to worry about that. It's NASCAR overtime. And now we've got some contenders up here. Bubba Wallace has found his way up into the top 5. Once again here in the late going at Daytona. And so we've got 2 laps to settle it this time. Getting into the back of Bubba Wallace. Paul Menard back here as well. Or back here. It's, we're running in 5th position. Oh, and there's a lane there. Managed to get in front of Kurt Busch. And here comes Aric Almirola to the lead. It looks like with help from Bubba Wallace and Paul Menard. But Buescher works back on the outside. Buescher leads. So we're coming to the white flag this time around. It is going to get wild, I suspect. It is about to get real wild. Almirola back to the inside. This time with help from Menard. Surely. Oh, he can't get him around. He can't clear him. We're back on that yellow line again. You can't do that. It's out of bounds. Oh, I got nowhere to go with McDowell. We're all single file. This is exactly the way it may look on Sunday. Coming to the line. Here comes Almirola. That's his move right there. Can't get it done. Buescher blocks him. Oh, is Almirola going to wreck him? No. Almirola decides not to do what was done to him last year. Bubba Wallace is out of the groove. He's out of the line. Well, it looks like Jimmie's going to come home 5th. And NASCAR Heat 3 is going to predict, I think, that Chris Buescher is going to win the Daytona 500. Indeed he will. And Jimmie Johnson will come home 6th. Unbelievable. So Chris Buescher will win the Daytona 500. So says NASCAR Heat 3. There's the rest of the field, the rest of the running order. Denny Hamlin apparently will finish last, and Aric Almirola, the bridesmaid, once again. So let me know what you think of the 2019 NASCAR Heat update. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe for more motorsport and NASCAR content. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.